Hey, battle buddies and healthy heroes. My name is Susie. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just an enthusiastic nerd. And I'm excited to share the second video in my staff wielding series. This is tactics with a staff. You have a staff. You're not necessarily a frontline fighter. You're not necessarily toe-to-toe sparring with someone, or at least not ideally. So what else can you do with a staff? If you're a spellsword, if you're a rogue, perhaps? I got my good buddy Will to be featured again. Will gives us a lot of expert tips on how he uses staff to strike and his stance and those sort of combat ideas. And then you also get to see us try to fight a little bit. Stick around to the end and we get into some staff spars with some spells. And again, of course, a bonus feature of William the Younger, training the next generation. So special thanks to Will for training with me again. Please be sure to check out his interview and spar feature if you haven't seen those videos yet. And enjoy the installment of my staff wielding series, Staff Tactics. And today we're going to explore staff. We're thinking about different weapons. I do have a character. The fourth PC I made is a staff wielder, but I don't know a lot about it yet. So I have invited Will, our resident weapons expert, to come back and talk to me a little bit about what it might be like to learn how to use a staff. So basics, give me the basics first. How would you hold it? How would you try to strike with it?
I would hold it I would hold it like a two-hander. That's it is a two-hander.
So like hands close together?
Depending on where you want to be and how heavy your rep is.
Yeah.
So if your rep is super heavy, you're going to have your arms wider.
Okay.
Again, not a staff. This is a two-hander. If you're having it heavy, you want to have it a little farther apart. Make sure that you actually get control of it. Right?
Yeah.
If it's a lot lighter, you can have your hands as close as you want to. All right.
Yeah. But even this, I'm immediately seeing how disadvantaged I feel compared to a two-hander because this extra staff length makes me slower and makes me need to sort of like pick my side. And you have the ability to do that action a lot smoother.
Right. One, this is very, very much lighter, and also you can have it behind you. If you want to, it's gonna hurt your back probably, but you kind of do like that and have a door for this to go through.
Oh yeah, if I'm gonna be like totally.
Yeah.
It's gonna like hurt my shoulders.
It's gonna hurt everything. I think we're gonna come out right, say the staff isn't a preference, isn't your I'm a frontline fighter weapon choice.
Yeah.
Right. You can get good at the staff. Right?
Yeah.
Or you can spend it and getting good at like a two-hander or pole arm, which has the damage, has the reach, doesn't have this part.
Yeah.
And then once you're good at this, you can take that and bring it back to a staff, and then you would be good, if not great, at the staff.
Okay, yeah, so let me make sure I'm understanding you there. If you want to spar with a staff, you could learn about it, but you recommend learning about it with two-handers or other weapons first because they're more viable as a sparring frontline weapon. This is more of a defensive sort of niche situation.
Even using like a bow, because a lot of the staff is one-handed blocking.
One-handed blocking is the benefit of the staff.
Right, so a caster will do that. Have one-handed blocking.
One-handed blocking with a staff is very similar to one-handed blocking with a longbow.
Yeah. But if someone backs up, then you can pull out your packets and start throwing at them.
With aggression from the bow.
Right.
Yeah. Right. How do you, as with a two-hander, just give me like a striking tip. Like how you said, like this posture.
You're gonna want to flatten your back foot against the person. So like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a little.
That gives you the push.
Yeah.
And then your front hand. That's effectively one of my fighting tips. And then you kind of bend your knees a little bit. And you do crouch a little bit, because that gives your arms even a further reach.
Okay.
Like that. Right. So and you want to be aiming for the closest target. So even now with that, you want to be going for forearm.
Yeah.
So the two-hander swing, or I call it a hop, is when you're going out the swing.
Yeah.
You do kind of pivot yourself on your middle foot. Yeah. And then you take a big step back.
Oh yeah, show me that. Show me that.
When you're here, you swing and then you kind of hop back. It's kind of one motion of. So that even,
like a backwards lunge.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm normally used to lunging in.
Well, because then you're giving up your range.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have I control this whole area, right?
Okay, which is probably the biggest benefit of a long weapon like this is your range bonus, right?
To a degree, because we're in a touch-based system. Yeah. Someone can just go like this with their shield and just steal your entire range. And you can do too normal about it.
Yeah. Right? You only have so much control.
Right. So. Staff as a solo fighting weapon is not where you want to be. You need to be, even with a two-hander one-on-one, you need to be a top-tier fighter to make this survivable as a one-on-one fight.
Yeah. Show me that backwards lunge idea again.
So you're leaning forward. I'm going to try to do it slow because it's really, again, it's in my
Wanna
muscle
move it?
memory. Right?
Yeah.
So it's you're reaching out like I'm going for your shoulder.
Yeah.
Even though I really only aim for your forearm. Here, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm taking a step back.
Wow, because I was noticing, like, a staff is very good at blocking one-handed, but if you're in that aggressive position, switching to this is really slow and awkward. So, like, when you need to block like this, it's mostly just getting out of the way and controlling range.
Yeah, no, like if...
So it's one or the other.
Right,
you don't
right.
really fluidly go back and forth.
Right, you don't.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
a
my
Spellsword.
PC Vesa is a spell sword, and
Right.
she's got some packets.
Right, so that's
where
what
she
you
does
do
earth
is you're going to take a
casting.
step back, and then you're engaged from range. That's what
Yeah.
you're going to do with that. You're not going to be like, oh, well, I'll put all my chips into swinging even a higher number of the staff because you're not as efficient as someone else. Someone goes in full offense, you do have a little bit better because you can just do the one-handed block. I can't do that with a two-hander. I have to kind of be up high. And here's a really bad position for me because my elbow's up.
Yeah.
And I've already like I can kind of what we call sweep the floor. Like
Yeah.
I can do this a little bit.
But I can tag that elbow
Right,
pretty easy.
Right. So ideally, I want to stay here, and you either built my card enough that I can kind of say, oh, you're trading, cool, 10.
Yeah, and then I'd be
10.
trading like 2 or
Right,
5
and it
or
doesn't- and
something.
it doesn't matter because now we're just in a race.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Or with depending on a lot of people who used two-hander are spell swords as well.
Okay.
Right. So you can do that. I believe there's a bunch of skills in Alliance where you can spell strike your stuff.
Yep, that's something I'm interested in for
Right. So for a
Vesa.
two-hander, that's more range. You're
Yeah.
not throwing it. I'm spell striking disarms or
Yeah.
spell striking paralysis or whatever as an earthcaster.
Yeah, sure.
You have to, or even that. I just do like, oh, you got here, cool, like that.
Because the spell strikes will hit on the weapon.
Yeah.
So interesting. So maybe like if you're doing some strikes like this and you need to disengage to use your niche skills, your different skills, you do that little lunge thing, and then you come up, and then you're doing other stuff.
Yeah, your lunges.
It's like a disengage move. It's a backwards lunge.
Like it's one good thing about a staff against this is that you can just pull back one-handed and block here.
Yeah.
And then start going.
And this
range.
this can be a weapons block. It'll still be a target if someone is
Sure.
doing spell strikes on it. I
Sure.
would have to take spell strikes, but blocking
everyone
weapons.
has those targets. So
Yeah.
It's not any bigger.
Yeah,
in
sure.
in this,
About the possibility of backpacking. If I'm an earth caster and a staff wielder, do you think, here, can you turn around and pretend to be my fighter? If I am going to be backpacking, and I've got a packet on you to cast spells on you, but I've also got the cauliflower in my hand and the staff is up, do you think that's a viable strategy to like offer more defense, like from this way?
It really depends on the battlefield.
Yeah,
If you're in a huddled line and you're the backpack for like even 3 people,
sure.
right? You've done that before. Like dropping the staff is probably your best play there. You're not getting in the way. You can kind of just be smaller. You can get in between shields and whatever.
Right.
You do. Staff, like if it's just a sporadic battlefield
Yeah.
and
So less of a line, more of a one-on-one.
right, and like more chances for rogues having a way to defend
If
yourself.
rogues are a bigger threat,
Right, you
this
can go
back
You
here.
can go back to back with your fighter. You can block here, kind of back
Yeah.
here a little bit.
Oh,
like
that would be super cool. Yeah.
So you can kind of have 360 defense from your fighter,
Yeah.
but in a congested fight, you probably don't want the staff.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm hearing you. If you're in a line fight and it's congested, the staff is just going to slow you
It's
down.
probably gonna be a hindrance. Yeah.
Yep. Do your casting and do your healing for all your people and just stay smaller.
Yeah.
But if it's a little more roguey, open battlefield, you can sort of have it as a defense option and have a more 360 view of the area.
Yeah.
Cool. Those are neat options for staff. Thank you.
Like I would suggest for the future remake, having the grip here be a lot thinner.
Yeah, that's another
Because
tip.
you want to be able to actually have a full tight grip on this, not kind of like a C grip.
yeah.
So that's able to get knocked out of your hands a lot more. And
Yeah.
So,
You want to have more control of your weapon and you're going to be using it for sparring, make sure it's thin enough that you can have a full grip where your fingers touch. I have to work really hard to get my fingers together here, and it's going to be less in control.
and it's even more if you have packets. in
Especially if
hand,
I got the
too.
packets, yeah.
Well, the biggest thing is if you're one-on-one, right? If your character's not built to be one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you get in that position, you should be yelling for help.
Yeah.
Like, there's no shame in going help, 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 help.
Yeah.
Even like you've met Tab, like
Yeah.
him as Wick, he's running around battlefields just going, help, we need help. Like he's a boss, but he can't take on 10 people.
And that's also part
Right.
of, I found, even as Alda, my barefisted caster,
Yeah.
part of your role when you're not a solo sparring character is to have the battlefield awareness where you're like, this needs support,
Yeah.
that needs support, I need support.
Like,
So-
never be afraid to call for help and admit, because we are a team game,
Yeah.
that you can't do everything. If you're a spell sword with a staff, and that's your main thing, be aware of your ceiling at that point, right?
Sure.
Like, staff can only be so good.
Yeah.
If you could use a staff, like a real staff, like a martial arts staff, it would be way better because you're allowed to kill people with it.
Yeah, then I'm stabbing you.
Right. But a LARP staff, because it's also one of the cheapest build or XP costs in the game.
Yeah, that's one of its draws. A lot of people are tempted to add it on because all classes have it cheaper.
Right, but realize what your ceiling's going to be is you're not going to be just Sauroning everyone with your staff.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to fight for your own survival and be under equipped, I guess, is the nice way to say it.
Yeah, it's compelling because it's cheap, but it's got its limitations because it's cheap. It's the trade-off.
You need to put way more work in being good with the staff than you do with a two-hander, than you do with a sword, especially sword and board.
Yeah.
But like I said, I would take, if you want to try a staff as like try it as an NPC. Bring your own staff, try and see how it works there, because you'll have multiple lies, multiple mistakes. You can go through and try it.
Yeah.
I think one of my friends plays a staff rogue, or like an adept kind of thing.
That was going to be the last thing I wanted to ask about, is staff as a... So we've basically covered that staff is more defensive, is a team weapon, but can it also be a surprise weapon? If squaring off is not great, can you get the rogue shots in with it?
You can, as much as it's two short swords stuck together, and you can kind of take a short sword and stuff in the back, right?
Yeah.
Again, staff is not the best.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest. That's what it has going for it. Right? You can have reach, you can have defense, you can block with one hand, but again, it's not the combat monster that you might have in your brain. Like you see old movies of staff wielders going crazy. Like, they can do a lot of things that we can't.
Yeah.
With a foam staff. Safely, right?
Makes sense. Makes sense. So it might also be able to pop a surprise like any rogue does with just like tapping a back and then running away. That's because you're not toe-to-toe sparring. You're getting in a surprise and then you're managing your distance.
It's pretty, and like I said, staff and the bow and the long, thin weapons, even spear, on like a short sword spear thing, is a very good defensive weapon. Fighters and fighter adjacent usually want to shy away from it, right?
Okay. Great advice, great insight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want to do like a little spar with it? See how we match up?
It's up to you.
Let's try. So let's just fight each other a little, see how it goes. Let's see if we can get 5 hits.
Okay.
I got one.
There, you want to have the staff
out. The range.
Right, because if you have it up, all I see is a wall that I'm going to hit and slide down.
That was thumb.
Yep.
Two.
Oh,
That was, I'm not going to take a throat shot.
No worries.
3. Oh yeah, like, that's a nice little... See, I see, you did the sweep and then you did hop back and then you were more in control of the range.
Yep. Trade? Yep.
Trade, that was 4 for me. Yep. You were adjusting, I almost tried to snipe you. 5, yeah. That was 5 on me already, you got me.
Yes, 2.
Maybe we can do another fun version where I get spells.
If you're able to get spells off?
Yeah, if I can get spells off in a one-on-one, that's going to be impressive anyway.
Like, I'm starting to lay out some slays, whatever.
If you're a problem and I need to stop you to give my other frontline fighters more of an opportunity, I might pull back and throw some sort of shackle or something.
Yeah.
Can I do the backwards lunge and quick throw thing? Let's see that in action, okay? Here we go.
Got it. It's like a long
Oh no, my body works like that to you. Take two.
Okay.
Let's try that again. See, and honestly, that's a really good point. I was trying to use staff to the best of its ability to control the range, but as soon as you close that distance, it's too big. I couldn't even get the spell off. Take 2. Let's see if I can switch from aggression to getting a spell off. Oh no.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's in the wrong hand now, and then I gotta grab this.
Yep.
With binding force, I shackle you.
Got it.
Ha-ha! Yeah. And then I got you. If I can get that spell off, that's gonna depend a lot on my footwork and my range control with my footwork to make sure I get to that spot where I can set it up. Ready? Yep. Yeah, we're just breaking knuckles.
Yep.
Oh, got 1.
Got it.
Got 2. Don't close that distance. Ah, got 3. I'm gonna switch. extra spells to save myself, you're probably gonna pop some spell shields and hit some defenses.
Yep.
So be ready to like double up if you gotta.
Again, also make as much noise as you can so you don't die by yourself.
Yep.
Because most likely, if hyper-aggressive NPCs or any place jumping you,
Yep.
you're going to get got.
Yep. The staff is a slow team support defensive weapon.
Yep.
Cool beans. Thank you. All right, William, are we going to be on a team against your daddy?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we're going to pay attention to our positioning. He's got a lot of range, but there's two of us, so we have to stay on opposite sides, right?
I have blocking methods.
Yep.
Sure.
I can keep my sword down.
Stay apart. Stay, buddy.
I'm going where
Be in a
it's best
circle with
for me. I'm going where it's best.
Oh, you got it.
Got it.
I got it.
You got one?
One.
Nice.
Ah, no, you
I
take that.
got two on you.
I have 8 more.
Alright.
No.
Should I get one or you block it? Yeah.
I thought the push-up.
Got it.
Got it.
Oh, he snuck.
I can block.
Can.
I can, and I will. Oh, you got 2 on him. Are you coming in for the final blow? No.
Legs are tired.
Yep.
You down? Oh, we got you?
Yeah, I got him. I got the final blow on him.
Well done.
Yes! I just went like this.